What up, what up, what up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Gold Rush Weekly Watch List. We do this each and every week. Some weeks we have great setups, some weeks we don't. This week, there's a bunch of good setups this week. You know, they're not upside, in my opinion, they're not upside setups though. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Very quickly, let me see in the chat on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being weak and 5 being strong. How was everybody's performance in the market this week? I would say mine is at probably a 2 because I had very, very strong performance in one account and very weak performance in in my other couple of accounts. So I'll average it at a 2. I see 2 to 3. 3, 2.5, 4 to 5, 2. Yeah, this was a tough week. This was a tough couple of weeks, actually. I think things flipped last week and we were expecting a bounce and we didn't get the bounce, or we got a little bit of a bounce and then we got faked out. So yeah, I see a 4. So I like seeing these higher numbers. That basically means that you guys, and I'm speculating here, but that means that you guys have your rules, you stuck to them. You know, you didn't dictate where the market was going to go. You just let the market decide where it was going to go, and you went along for the ride. So kudos. All right, cool. I'm glad to see it. Glad to see some of this range. The 2s and 3s and 4s, the 2s and 3s, we'll get into 4s and 5s. Hopefully. There's no 1s, so that's nice. Those 5s, maybe we'll turn them into 10s somehow. Maybe we'll have two back-to-back good weeks. All right, cool. So let's look at SPX real quick, and then let's look at QQQs, and then we'll go through with S and J, see what they have. What up, gentlemen? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
I am glad to hear it.
Guess we're not getting S though.
He's being camera shy.
Yeah, he just can't figure out where the unmute button is. Now I'm just gonna keep talking shit about him until he's.
All right. Well, while he gets his bearings together, looking at and if you get your microphone situated, you could just cut me off. Looking at SPX or ES rather, ES futures. I have the weekly chart on the left-hand side and I have the daily chart on the right-hand side. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but basically there was a bunch of buying pressure here in this area for a couple of weeks. This is a tough area to break. And there we go. Tough area to break. And so we failed out of this area for a bunch of weeks, right? Choppy, and then flush, big bearish engulfing flush on this week, which was the last week, the second to last week in November, the second to last full week. We came down to test these previous highs. So that's kind of where we're at now, right? We're just at this level where we hit the previous resistance. Now we're finding support there, right? This big wick on that previous week is what I wanted to see. Right now, this is a live candle, right? Yeah, this is a live candle. So right now we're starting above that previous resistance, the previous closes. So that's good, right? I don't know what direction is going to go in, you know, but this is a good spot for it to go up. Looking at the daily, if we look at the daily on the right-hand side, I like that. I like where it's at right now in regards to the moving averages. That 50 is positioned pretty well, right? We're holding the 50. We did flush underneath it on these days, tested it, rejected, and then just like went crazy for like 2 weeks straight, 2 or 3 weeks straight, right? So that's nice. But now we're back at the 50, and so it's make or break with this 50 right now. If we take out the 50 or the 50 takes SPX out, then I see us coming back to possibly to this level here, right over here. which is not too far from Friday's low, right? So it's not too far. It won't kill us. But if it takes that out, then we'll slide a little bit further. Now, I like it for an upside move, but I'm not gonna. It really all depends on what happens with this 50 moving average on a daily, in my opinion. So let's just watch out for that. Basically wait to see what it does. All this chop right here brings the IV down. It's chopping around and losing a little bit of momentum, so that's nice. RSI's flat. TTM is still very bearish, so just wait for it. Don't try to force a direction. That's how we lose money, is when we try to make the direction, choose a direction before it chooses itself. So go ahead, bro.
So coming out of September quad witching and everything, I was giving you targets that we want to get over and hold for us to start getting bullish again. And for this one right now, we need to hold over this 4,500 for like 2 to 3 days. If we can hold over it for the beginning of this week and give us a little relief, we might be able to start heading upwards. The problem is OPEC's roll is going to start like Wednesday-ish, I think. JCat says the Wednesday before it likes to start. So that's this Wednesday, actually. And then OPEC's is the 17th, the following Friday. So with that being said, we also have a Fed meeting on the 15th. So we're probably going to whipsaw here all week. We're going to have a bunch of fake outs. So again, another reason for a good account challenge. And overall, just see profit, take profit, is that it's going to be super volatile probably over the next week into the 15th.
Yeah, and then one thing to add to that is we get quarter end with a year end. There's going to be a lot of firms that have made a lot of money this year that are going to want to take profits. And, this is probably the past few weeks or a few days, excuse me, of what we've seen is some of that, where they want to make sure their books look good. But then you also have the competing forces of making your books look good for the end of the year for those that didn't make it as much money as they feel like they should. So they're going to be buying into things, trying to pump some things up. So, this is typically it's just a volatile time of the year, of the trading season, if you want to put it.
I'd say if you're not super comfortable with day trade scalps, again, I said this heading into the Ops X in November, this might be a good time to study and paper trade and see how things work out and ask a shit ton of questions to us.
Yeah, there's no reason to force trades, guys. This is just a super volatile time. I basically mirror everything these guys say. You see 10%, that's a win. See 20%, that's a grand slam. Put it in your pocket. If you have enough runners, then leave 1 or 2 runners, but keep the profit while it's there. Don't watch it go to zero. Don't get greedy during this time. Yeah, well said. I don't know what else to say. I'm not gonna add any more to that. Let's look at the Qs. Q. So I was looking at the Qs for a potential leap play, but I'm not sure if it's ready yet. I'm not sure if it's ready yet, or if we're gonna have more downside. That's a 7.4% move from the highs, and then it's positioned the same way, where it's kind of sitting right above the 50 moving average on a daily. It's sitting at above previous highs, just right at the previous highs. So, and I guess the level to hold here for NQ would be 15.5, 15.6. Let me go to QQQ because I know we probably use that one a little bit more frequently. 380, I would say. 380 would be the level to hold for QQQ. Pretty much the same thing. Everybody needs to make sure that we're looking outside of tech for our plays. I know that most of us love playing tech. We're familiar with it. We know the charts, we know the companies. So we stay there. But last week, this past week, tech brought, NASDAQ brought the S&P down, and other things ran, right? There were other runners or things that held, right? Such as like Apple held that one day, those couple of days. So I wouldn't, it's Apple is like it's a rare that it does, right? So I just wouldn't be married. My point is I wouldn't be married to tech. Let's look for other tickers. If you're scalping, then you can just, if you want to scalp or if you want to learn how to scalp, maybe just stick to SPX or SPY and watch for the big moves. I mean, I don't think that we should be swinging in this environment until the end of after OPEX. Between OPEX and Christmas, we're probably like that's when we'll get the rally at the end of the year. So this is pretty much the same exact thing as ES. Let's just wait for it to kind of form a couple of candles above this previous resistance. Just hold this level right here. Let me draw a box so you guys can see a little bit more clearly. Really just needs to hold like this level here, pretty much where the 50's at, coincidentally. Yeah, just needs to hold that level where the 50's at and then work its way back up. Will it do it? Will it hold for the next 2 weeks? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But all I'll say is it will be kind of nasty. Maybe we'll just trade up and down around the 50. So same setup as SPY or ES or SPX or whatever, however you want to look at it. I'm just gonna get into my list very quickly. I have only 4 for us to look at, and then I'll pass it on.
So real quick, you asked about the lead strategy for QQs on Friday.
Yeah.
I looked into it. So like that 380, like you said, is the line we wanted to hold. You could essentially buy one, kind of like I did with SPY in September. Buy one now to keep stepping, buy on major support lines. Like if it comes down to your green box, buy again and average down that way for the next like 2 weeks. The number that I would do is the 440 call for next December. And that is currently sitting at 1650, which ironically is right where we bought in SPY in September, 1650. So numbers wise, kind of all makes sense. But
And for everybody tuned into us on YouTube on the replay, well, that's your free play. That'll pay for your that play will pay for your next couple of years.
Yeah.
So
we already saw 100% on the SPY one by the end of November. So it was basically $1,600 in your pocket per contract.
And you still have plenty of time on that, right?
Yeah, next September. Still 10 months. 100% with 10 months ago.
Love it, love it, love it. So congrats on that, by the way, guys. That's great. That's a great play. All right, so I have 5 that I want to look at. So the first one's XPEV. XPEV is currently it's resting on the 50-day simple moving average on the daily. Momentum indicators say that there's more downside, right? So this just made a decision here and it's going down, right? And just all 3 indicators are pointing down. There's a weekly bearish engulfing, right? So look at this big ass bearish candle. Like it tried to do something on here on this day, but it just failed and got sent all the way back down. We have obviously quad witching in a couple of weeks. If the 50 doesn't hold, then I'm saying, maybe we can touch these lower targets here, these targets here. And if we take out this target here at 4165-ish, then I don't see any reason why we can't come down to test the 200. And it might seem drastic, it might seem like a big move, but DIDI is getting delisted from the market, the US market, and so it's more likely that we'll see outflows than inflows in these Chinese tickers. The only thing that I think can save this is any kind of really bullish catalyst. Like XPEV had a great earnings report, LI had a great earnings report, and just a few days later, none of that matters. So I'll be watching it closely. I like where it's at with the 50. I think it's better for downside, but if it does base around this 50, then maybe we'll get a flip. Yeah, and I'm in a neo position, so a long position. So I'm hoping that I'm wrong about this and it does flip, but we'll see. The next one that I have is RIOT for the downside. I don't know where my notes on this went. Let's see, there it is. Okay, so all crypto's been sliding. RIOT, Mara might be on a slide as a sympathy. Obviously, you guys know RIOT and Mara are crypto blockchain companies. Beneath the 50 and the 200, the price is currently beneath the 50, which is this black line, the red line, and the 200, which is this black line. The 50 is underneath the 200, which is a bearish signal. We had the death cross over here in September. and it tried to recover, price tried recovering, but it hasn't been able to. Some downside supports and possible demand zones down here. So I'm looking, I just think it's going to come back down and test these levels here. If it breaks this level here at 2630-ish, 2638, then it can come back to test the 24 level. If it comes down to that 24, you better add so much of it, because it won't stay down for long, in my opinion. Momentum showing a downside move on a daily, and same thing as whatever that other ticker was that we just discussed. What was it? XPEV, where we have a bearish engulfing on a weekly. So very similar setup. More bearish, I would say, but very similar setup. So really, I'm just watching these levels over here. The next one that I have is, this is not it. Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, okay. CAN. I don't think I took notes with this one. Yeah, I didn't take notes with this one, but the reason why this has my attention is because of this massive red day. It gave up the 50, you know, a head and shoulders here into the 50, and just flushed right through it. If I put on, I'm not even gonna look at the volume, but I'm sure the volume is extremely high on this day. Actually, you know what? I will look at it. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, extremely high volume, higher than many of the previous days except for this day. You know, maybe all these people took their profit, or I don't know, but a bunch of people sold out of it. Maybe there's some news. But the way that this looks, it looks like it wants to do some further downside. Yeah, it looks like it wants to do some further downside. So I would say break of the day low and come back to test these levels at 560 and 546. I like this company. I don't have a position in this company, but I do like it. Just like I like HUT, just like I like Mara. Let's see, crypto CEOs will be testifying on Capitol Hill this week. There you go. So that's the catalyst. That's your catalyst for downside. Thank you, Ginger. There you go. I mean, take the break of the lower day, take it down to these levels. I mean, you got to catch it on a day where it moves like this, right? These big ass candles, or these 2 days where it makes big moves. Based on that catalyst, it looks like we'll get big moves just like that. And that's on the 8th, which is what day is that? That's on Wednesday. So this can slide into Wednesday, maybe consolidate, wait for a decision, and then from there we'll see where it goes. For Canon. So I like Canon to the downside. The 50's under the 200, everything's under the 200, everything's under the 50. So, you know, I like it. Maybe we'll bounce at this level as we have in the past, right? This could be some sort of rising support line, but based on that dramatic ass candle, I doubt that that the support line will hold. So, but we'll see. There's another target for you. Let me just go ahead and add it. Add it right here. The next one is Target. I like TGT because it has a pretty clean setup, in my opinion, on a daily. It's not an inside bar, but it's very similar. And the reason why I think it's similar is because it has very like clear entry, clear upside target, clear downside targets. It's currently fighting with the 50-day. And so if it can break it and hold it, then we can try to test some of these upper levels. But if it fails at that 50, then it'll get flushed down back into these levels. Below this level, you know, it's going to be a nice strap play below that lower level. Below this level here, you know, we can see some major slide into the 200. So momentum indicators say more upside. So like the MACD looks like it wants to curl. RSI is relatively flat and on the bottom, more or less of the range. TTM is flipping to the upside slowly. So, you know, but I'm not married to this because this can change in one day. So I'm just gonna watch what it does with that 50 and then keep my targets to the upside. I like it better for it needs to hold that 50. I like it better for the upside personally. But we'll see what happens. The last one that I have is XLU. XLU is so it showed strength even though we had a bad couple of weeks. It showed strength. A bunch of buyers came in last week. even with this massive flush on Tuesday, a bunch of buyers, Tuesday and even Wednesday, a bunch of buyers came and stepped in and retraced most of the move, about 99% of that move. The targets are still intact from last month. Some of these upside targets that I had from last month. It's currently obviously doing a broadening formation where it's making kind of higher highs, but then also lower lows. It tried to take out that 50, but bounced off of it on Friday. So that's very strong. The biggest holding for XLU is NEE, which SDOT put a play on a couple of weeks ago. And I think we hit like 100% on that. S, what's the most you hit? Are you still in that play, or did you get rid of it already?
I still have 2/3. It's still sitting at 150%. It almost hit what's that? 80, almost hit 300% this week. It hit 155 a contract, and
Nice.
we got about 40 cents. And then T also just put out a play, so he likes something in it. He put out the same exact strike and expiration at 110, I think.
Oh, NEE?
Yep, he
Very
did
nice.
this past week.
Very
So
nice.
double confirmation, but yeah, we're sitting at still 150% profit on it.
Beautiful. As soon as I saw it, I mean, we reviewed it a couple of weeks back. It was forming a cup and handle on the daily, and it was just too clean not to call out. It consolidated just like kind of this did over here. It was just like very, very clean consolidation. And so
It did exactly what we said it was going to.
yeah, it was
if you go back and watch that watch list, it
Yeah.
literally played out to the T.
Yeah, monster play. Congrats on that. Let's see. So I want to see XLU test the top of this broadening formation. Come back to test these levels up here. Momentum is tight, but it looks like it wants to go bullish, right? This is pointing up. There's nothing on the TTM. Actually, it came down and now it's coming back up. It's very tight. This will probably be red tomorrow, these dots, which we know is good for volatility. And that's it. That's what I have, guys. That's what I have for you guys. I don't think that there's probably other things, but I don't want to take too much time here. Yeah, NEE, like it's just looking like it wants to explode. I'm just gonna draw this broad information and I'll leave it with you guys. Yeah, it's just kind of megaphoning or whatever the hell these people call it. All right, that's what I have, guys. Who's next? Let me stop sharing my screen.
I'll go real quick. I only have 3. As a whole, I didn't like a whole lot of charts this week, and that's going to happen with me anytime there's volatility. My main style, especially for day trading and scalping during the week, is inside bars. And when we have this whipsawing, it really is not conducive to inside bars. Some of the people that like to follow it, I've been trying to work through with them different ways to kind of look at it and break it down into intraday inside bars and take it from there and try to find setups within SPY and other movers. So overall, the 3 that I have is CVX, Chevron Corp. It's an oil company. It basically had 2 inside weeks, and we're seeing a lot of exhaustion here. So I'm feeling to the downside on Chevron CVX. The only thing to hold up with inflation in the market whipsawing, sometimes money likes to flow to oils, but we got basically a double top in the same area here on the daily and just consolidating here. So for the most part, below 112, I'd be looking to take a short with price targets 110.87, 109, 43, 107. If this does decide that it wants to go bullish on us, I'd be looking for anything over 117.25, get a daily close over that, and we're going to start moving back up into these higher ranges. Again, that's based off double inside bar on the weekly, and then the daily looking tight here too, just full on consolidation. So waiting for the move to happen. Next one is Pfizer, which everybody likes to trade lately, and just takes one little news catalyst to get it jumping into the next round. Gave us a nice inside bar. It's pretty strong on Friday, actually. So for this one, we're going to look at the low. Turn my magnet on real fast. The low of 53.10 with the high of 54.41 to take the next leg up. It also has a little bit of a flag triangle going on here. So it gives us another point to look for the breakout. Just so happens they kind of line up together. Maybe get one more day tightening before it takes off. One way or the other, really. That should be a pretty straightforward play. The weekly on it does show a little exhaustion. So that it might be interesting to start the week, see if it does break the downtrend. But either way, you can be ready for it. This is probably the best play for both ways this week, in my opinion. So keep that on watch. And then ABBV, this had an inside weekly and kind of nice reversal and heading back up to these highs here at 121.53. So if we break, I think if we break 119, we're going to head right to 121.53 area real fast. And then from there, I believe, back here on set there and this area 123 and up to 126. So this one I'm only watching for the upside, really. That's the weekly, and then inside the daily you can see basically the same lines and a little cleaner break. If you want to be a little safer, wait for 119.50 to ride it up. But I think this is one of the better plays for the upside if it continues to show strength, which it had. Yeah, got a little bit of a couple of handle on the daily too here. But so got the breakout on the weekly cup and handle. So I think for the upside, this is one of the better plays. And like I said, it showed relative strength through the past 2 weeks as well. So those are the three that I have. And sorry, it's so fast. Just this market isn't necessarily conducive to my swing trading, which I like to put on the watch list for the most part.
I really like that Abbv. That's really nice. Very cool.
I have to look. I know T likes to play it. I don't know if he already has a play in for it or not for next week or not.
Yeah, I like Pfizer. I actually had that on my list, but you basically
sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine because there's not much. I'm pretty much in the same boat. I'll start. Hold on. I'll start sharing in a second. So move this out of the way.
And if you guys have any charts that you want to look at, just go ahead and put the tickers in the chat.
So I'll do my quick thing with Pfizer. I basically had the same exact thing as us with this little triangle pennant, whatever you want to call it, forming. My guess is a move up, but you know, with us talking about the weekly, it looks a little exhaustion. It could go anywhere. And I'm very, very, very much similar to us in that there's very little for my style. I personally think we're moving down, at least this week. And everything I looked at has already moved a ton, and there's nothing's really setting up as of today. You know, so that can change this week. But from what I'm seeing, there's not very much that I like to the downside that already hasn't moved quite a bit. So it kind of forced me to look for upside potential. I don't love this, but it's there. CROX is the first one on my list. Actually, let me get rid of this. It's just playing this trend line here. Bounced off the 50, built a nice little candle on the daily with that bounce off that 50. I'm just looking at the notes I have. Hard to take anything long here, but if we rebound, this seems like it's a decent candidate to start moving up. So if the overall market moves up, I think this has kind of found its support. It's got a little bit of of chart support here, which is it's cleared and held, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever, 4 days that it's touched it, it's held it. So I like this as a potential upside play, but again, a lot of this is market dependent. GWH is the next one on my list, and it's basically just been playing this move here for the past, however many, since early October. So the past 2 months, roughly. What caught my eye on it though, this is over these past few days here, it's dumped to 20 and then came back above it on a nice, hammerish doji candle here, but with a very long wick. So, this isn't a perfect doji. Your doji you would see in the middle. This is shading up, so this long wick and increasing volume on it. Oh, that volume looks terrible compared to that day. But with increasing volume on it here, if something was going to pop, this looks like it's primed for it. So your safe play is anything above, this trend line, anything above 1750-ish or so. I don't believe we're going to have another run to 28, but a run to 18, 20, 25-ish isn't out of the question. But, round about 20 is my guess here. Unless this, goes back, it's not a meme stock, but, we can see that it's prone to run when it wants to. So unless people really start coming back into this name, we could start pushing this 28, but 20, 21, 25 even is a range that I can get behind. Last one I had was Moderna. Now, I don't particularly care for like the upside downside. Like S is a fucking master at, which break this, we're going up, break this, we're going down. But Moderna has that look to me. So this green line here is the 50. So if we can get above the 50-day and hold, if you wanted to swing something, if we did this on Monday and we held Tuesday, it's got potential to really, really run, from 320-ish to 380-ish up to 400. So that is my upside potential on this. But if it doesn't hold and we start breaking down, I would actually take anything beneath a 50-day. If it can't hold a 50-day intraday, to me, it's not going to really hold it. So, a play on Monday for me is to see what it does. And if it can't hold a 50, which right now is 312.84, so 313. If we dump 313, we've got potential all the way down to 293, 290, so 293, 290 area. And really we're looking at 270, that's a 20-day, 271.66, So this gap is filled here that shouldn't make any difference. So then we've got nothing until it's 271 and then all the way down to the 200, 262. So I like it better for the downside because I'm not sure what it can do, but we look at something like Pfizer, which is very much COVID dependent right now, even though this company does do a lot more than COVID. That's got a nice little, this nice little pennant forming. So if this breaks up, Moderna probably breaks up as well. If this breaks down, Moderna breaks down. So these are kind of, kissing cousin plays here, sympathy plays on each other.
I like that Moderna a lot.
Yeah, it kind of forced me into up or down.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Anything over Friday's high a day is most likely going to get it running because you have the 50 as well. And then the 9's on catch-up mode on it as well.
Yep.
I like it a lot. Because the 9's right there. The 9 is right now.
Yeah, this red line or whatever is the 8. So
yeah, the 9's at 307. So if you get to open above 313, you're going to get close to having the 9 crossing the 50 as well. Give it a little juice.
Yep.
No, I you see it to the downside. I kind of see it to the upside a little bit, but the lines are crisp for either way.
Yeah. This is a perfect for your style.
Yeah, I like
Break
it a lot.
above, break below, take it and run.
Yep. So those lines, 318.79 is the break I'd look for on the upside, and 293.60. And to be safe, the Thursday's doji, 391.03, whatever. But
It's basically
yeah,
just those
I see.
two
I'd
right
look
there.
the downside. I'd be worried of the low exhaustion, like running into that support that it caught.
Yeah.
But it has room to the 20 though too. So
Yeah. I mean, and Moderna's got such good range.
yeah, I like it a lot for both
It
ways.
can
Now
do
I'm
a
looking
lot.
at it. Now I'm getting all bearish on it. Now that I'm looking at it, but yeah,
Like the volume flag on it too.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this is the other way to look at it. I didn't like this, but here's the other way to look at it. With that volume slide, you basically have a falling wedge. So by the rules of a falling wedge, this is going to break up, and you're also getting a nice little volume pattern into it. So if you want to be bullish on it at some point, I would look down towards this 280 level, where you'll get your pop. I just hate these falling wedges, ascending wedges. I can never seem to get them right.
We have a few requests. We have Disney, AMD, and Tesla. I'll leave it to you guys because I don't have any clean charts on those.
Disney, I thought I had something the other day. Yeah, I had this falling wedge, and it's not really wedging. It's just kind of playing this channel. It's trying to break out of it. I don't know.
that has more of a T kind of setup right now.
Yeah, it is. It is
Like
a little.
Couple more days of consolidation,
Yep,
get back above the 8-9, and then
Yep.
look to go
I
long.
bet he'll call something anywhere around 149, 150.
Yep, definitely has that look to it.
Yeah.
We just want to see it base longer here, where if we start whipsawing, it might lose that 143. And if I recall, it has space down to the one.
Yeah, if we get this, we're
129.
probably going that way.
Yeah,
You know.
I think it was something like one. I'm like recalling all the way back.
140, basically. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, 137.
There's that. Yep.
And then there's a
133
gap
down here.
Gap below 135.
Yep. So this gap here from back in last November.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got that it could fill. But
So-
not all gaps have to fill, but once they get close to them, they like to. So we start getting into this 133 area, then we're looking at 128-ish. But I think I'm at the 5 here.
Yeah, Gavin, it can go lower. I mean, there's a lot of news that can make Disney go lower, right? What was kind of propping it up in this 200 range, the 175, 200 range, was the Disney Plus subscribers and stuff, not so much the theme parks. And then when they came out with the shit subscriber news, that's when it really started to lose its momentum. So the parks opening up and all that stuff doesn't necessarily move it as much as the digital and subscribership there, in my mind.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to go long on it because you think that you can't go much lower, let's make sure that it holds the level that it's at for probably this whole week. And if it starts moving up over 149, 150 to be safe, and can start looking to go a couple weeks out.
So
Yeah,
AMD was the next one on our list. I probably shouldn't talk about AMD because I just can't trade it.
I can't either. So
So if you want, you can take over. Otherwise, I can give you my shitty opinion on it because I can't catch this one for the life of me. I just can't read it.
I get clapped every single time I play AMD. It looks pretty
Yeah.
exhaustive to me. If we were going to go by strat style, throw it on the weekly, Jay, and you can see where it came down and caught support of 3 weeks ago. And then, so if it loses that support, it's coming all the way down to like 123-ish.
Yeah.
But if it holds this, the low of that week, 143, if we can stay above 143, we probably get a chance to go take another run at the highs.
Yeah.
That's really the weekly is the only spot that's giving me any look, which makes sense because if you look at the SPY weekly is given more
Kind of
tips.
the same.
Giving you more tips than the daily is right now. And that's kind of why we work through all different timeframes to figure stuff out. Because for a time, dailies are going to be giving you the most information on certain tickers. And then if you look at the weekly, that at some points, that's going to be giving you more information.
Well,
So
looking at the monthly, could be building a nice little 3-bar play here because December just started. I thought this was November's candle. Yeah, no, fuck that.
yeah, I mean, it could still work, but this also could be. Where are
Yeah.
Are we almost close to that 50 retracement?
Yeah.
If 50 retraced right on the fucking penny of the previous month. So I think that means more downside. But
Yeah. Huey, I don't know if you're listening, if you've got anything on AMD that can give a better read. I think we'd be all ears.
Throw the weekly on one more time. I saw it for the daily, but it looks clean on the weekly. It has kind of like a broadening formation. So like the tops, just like the tops are getting toppier and the bottoms are like kind of opening up, but more from like that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it just started. Yeah, like it looks like it just started. So I like to spot these out. I think that they're bullshit. Like I think they're even more bullshit than like Elliott wave, but but sometimes they pan out. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks like it's just getting more and more volatile, and which means it's making bigger moves upside, bigger moves downside. Can we draw a fib from the start of that green candle in November? Yeah. Just want to see something.
I hate my fib sometimes.
Okay. I mean, came back down to 50% of the move and started wicking. And the was that the eight week moving average?
Yep, 8 weeks on that one right there. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean that's just an interesting spot. I mean it's I see multiple levels of support here. It's at the bottom of the boarding formation. It's at the 50% fib and it has that 8 week sitting right underneath it. So we'll see. I don't know. I looked at AMD earlier and the daily was too ugly for me to give it a second glance.
yeah, I agree. The daily's super ugly. But the weekly, I think, lines it up a little bit. You wouldn't play until it's over all-time highs for upside, and unless you want to get it off the bounce at 141, and you'll play to the downside of loss of like 140, 130. That 50%.
Yep.
I mean, that really, and that gave you basically. I said it would go down to 120, and the 50% puts you down to 118. So, the full next leg down. Weird spot.
Yeah, it's just in a weird spot. Thought I saw Fab put in Tesla.
Yeah, she wants to know if it can go any lower.
Well,
Kind of like that chart better than some of the other ones.
yeah, I mean, we do have this flag point starting to play on the weekly.
Yep.
With support there. Tesla does what Tesla does.
I could see it breaking to the downside, bouncing off that support and ripping up.
Yep. I mean, if it gives up 900, that's game over for Tesla. Then we're probably going back down to 6.
Yep.
But I don't think it's going to do that. I really, really don't think the Tesla lovers are going to let that happen.
And did you see that, all this stuff moves in news stories, right?
Yep.
Elon did 10% of his or 60% of the 10% he needed to do, but he increased his Tesla position as well. So
Yeah.
he sold all of it and then exercised a bunch of options at cheaper. So it all
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then they add the SpaceX stuff where they're going broke. Like he's got to raise money for other projects.
He's funding other stuff.
So, I mean, if we're looking at Tesla on the daily, we've got a bit of a double top kind of forming here. Bring the neckline of the double top here. Happens to coincide with the 50-day right now. We break this 50, we're gap filling down to 900. We break 900, 200 days at 750. So does it have more downside potentially? Yeah, sure does. But Tesla's another stock where we're looking at end of year, end of quarter, where a lot of institutions, a lot of prop firms, a lot of hedge funds, they're going to want to probably start building their position in Tesla for next year. So we're probably based off of that where they're going to start buying. We can see kind of some volume patterns here. So we've got a nice little spike in volume here on 11/17 on a nothing day. We've got spikes in volume here on a doji, which makes sense, and we kind of came down, but got a spike in volume here on another doji. So we're seeing, these clues here, a spike in volume here on a doji. We're seeing clues here of what could be institutional buying to build their position within 1,000 to take it for the next leg up for next year. So you want to think about how institutions are going to run their books, how hedge funds are going to run their books, that we're end of year, a name like Tesla, they do not want to be left in the dust where they don't see 1,250, 1,400, 1,500, 2,000 next year, and they didn't buy in at 1,000. So, to answer your question, Fab, yeah, there is more downside here. It's just how far are we going to go? I tend to think we don't go very much farther, but we could see a big base build here too at 1,000, just because that's a huge psychological number. We've got the 50-day coming up, and it's Tesla.
Automatically in my head, I'm like, okay, so go long as soon as we tap 980 again.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean,
even if we chop, right? Even if we chop 1,500s for 6 months out.
Yeah, just start buying your leaps.
Yeah.
Start buying your 1,500, 2,000 leaps. Once we get, especially if we hold this level, especially if we sit around 1,000 for, forever, for, which in Tesla days could be a week. That's when you're gonna, you'd like to start looking out farther.
$2,000s for June are $30.
I mean, yeah, it's $3,000, but when you can turn that into 50,
right? I know. I wasn't saying as it's too much. I was saying as very intriguing, for the long-term port. Because you figure, what were they just a couple weeks ago when we hit 240? 1240. So they were already as high as 72.
Yeah, I mean, you could fucking day trade these, with the way they move.
Yeah.
Or just crazy swings. Yeah, I mean, these 2000s came back, June 2000s came, opened up at $12 when they were, they put on the board. And that's what, 4 days. or 7 days, sorry, 7 trading days. Make $70.
Note to self, try to keep track of when they open up new contracts.
Yeah,
The new month on Tesla, buy the
Yeah.
lows and let it fucking run.
yeah. I mean, one contract,
Yeah,
that's
that's crazy.
$6,000
Yeah.
on a $1,200 investment
In a week.
in a week.
Which week was that?
The week that it ran at
October
12:43.
26th to November 4th.
Pretty much the week that it went vertical.
Yeah. Yeah, so catch those vertical spikes on Tesla. Yep, right here.
That's
Right
crazy.
here, yeah. That's all I got. I didn't see anything else come through.
Nope, that's probably about it.
Sorry,
All
you're
right, I
welcome,
think that's it.
Stephen.
Yep. I think that's it then.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for spending your evening with us. See you guys in the server tomorrow.
And if you're not a member of the server, visit gorushgang.net. We currently have a 7-day promotion where we're offering a free 7 days for you to make your goal in that 7 days is to make your monthly premium, and then in that first month to make your yearly premium. And you will do it if if we're in tune the way that we usually are, then you will do it. This week we'll start our small account challenge. The rules will be posted up tonight. But basically, for you guys on the call, it's 10%, journal your trades, 5 trades. You made it through the first round. So that's pretty much it. Very excited for that. Looking to get some money to buy some Christmas presents for my family.
Yeah.
So
Turn the small account to the big account.
yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys for being with us. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for blessing us with the analysis. I'll see you guys in the server tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Happy trading.
Thanks.